Hello, we're live and we're ticked off. This is James P. Madonna coming to you all live from the state of New Jersey, the Garden State. And I'm in Louisiana in the heart of Dixie, never backing down. I have an unreconstructed mind. Okay, now James is going to start us off with chimes.
Well, first I want to welcome everyone to Thundering Thursday. Welcome to Thundering Thursday. This was a very unexpected Thundering Thursday. It was done sperm of the moment, like Archie Bunker used to say.
Yeah.
And I brought an interesting product that I never had before, but it's interesting because I've never had the likes of it. Dan Page, greetings. Hold on. Greetings. Live prosperous. God only knows we need all the prosperity we can get because the Dixie Chicks dropped the name Dixie and they're now called the Chicks. Believe it or not. And that goes for no more Aunt Jemima pancake syrup, no more Uncle Ben's rice, no more
Eskimo pies.
Eskimo pies, no more Cracker Jacks with that cheap ass prize that was inside of it. Even though I love the taste. No more statues. Down, taking all the statues down, historic landmarks, because people might get offended. Ooh, a lobbying group might get offended. Heaven forbid.
Well, you know, the Taliban got offended and the ISIS got offended, see, so they were very demonstrative too. But that's what tyrannists do. Anyway, I am never going to back down to these people.
That's right. That's right. And it's too bad. Instead of destroying statues of Stonewall Jackson or Jefferson Davis or whatever, instead of destroying them, they should have contacted you and asked you want to adopt the statues, and then you can put them in your front yard, backyard.
Oh boy, that would be a great backdrop for the videos.
Oh, could you imagine that? You being outside at the table with your buddy, with the beard in front of the statues. Ooh.
Yes, that would be very good, but I can't afford to ship them over here. But I'm in Louisiana, y'all, and anybody's welcome to join. But you know, we had some problems in the past where we had to boot some people out because of bad behavior. But I don't take the blame for that. Here is Elysian space dust. I'm about to get dusted.
Oh wow! Look at that. It's a hop with a smiley, with something coming out of his mouth. Oh my goodness! And he's in outer space.
Yeah, he's got some dust, baby, but it's hop dust.
Oh, look at that! That is the coolest label. Next to Hoptopus craft beer.
It says the hopping is pure star glow energy with Chinook to bitter and late and dry additions of Citra and Amarillo. It's 8.2% alcohol. This ale should be experienced by July 20th or no, July 8th. Well, it's not July 8th yet. And it's from Seattle, Washington.
Yes, where they have nothing but what do you call it? Anarchy and chaos. From what
So it's from the BOZ, the Beer Occupied Zone, and it's from Fort Collins, Colorado. And I'm assuming mine is from Colorado, but yeah, it says no, I can't figure that out. Anyway, it's from America. The country used to be called the United States of America, now called the Fanatic Occupied Zone, the FOZ. Now, James.
Yeah, the neoliberal, politically correct, a lunatic, fascist states of America. That's true. Okay, I have something interesting. Well, of course, after a long period of absence, I brought back the shot glass, which is becoming more topless, as you can see. But anyway, I have brought Spice Key, triple distilled Spice Key Irish whiskey, spiced Irish whiskey, and I have the website up, and it is interesting.
That's a new one on me.
Yeah, this is a new one on me too, man. You see more varieties where they keep the little baby bottles than you do on the shelf with the big bottles. But I got the story. It has a real pretty label with the hands and the heart. What do they call it? The claddor. It's our story. Audrey Boyle, founder and CEO of Spice Key, came to the United States from Dublin, Ireland, to create a life she had always dreamed of. Yada yada yada. Okay. After years of hard work, the violin is playing, but wonderful life. Okay. All right. I'm bypassing the violin playing for 20 years. There's a picture of Audrey. Not a bad looking older woman. Spice Key is more than a spice whiskey. Is a symbol of hard work. More violin playing, hard work, blah, 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 overcoming life's curveballs. I was always looking for a whiskey I could truly enjoy and decide to take on the challenge to create my more violin playing.
Who wrote that? Horatio Alger?
Yeah, I know. Creating the first ever Irish-made spiced whiskey by blending my custom spices and flavors. Oh, it's like KFC. She won't share it. With a traditional whiskey, I brought Spice Key to life. A little more violent. Over the years, my family has been faced with challenges, as I know many families. Yada yada yada. Bah, 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 bah. Let's see if she cuts to the chase. Have it with spice cider or a splash of ginger ale. And Spice Key has spices that she is not mentioning what they are, which is all right. It's her company, it's her business. But I will unscrew it. I love the crackle when you unscrew these things. All right. Ooh, that is spicy there, Heart of Dixie. That is a strong aromatic. It's light colored, but very aromatic, just the same. Spice whiskey. I bypass all the violin playing. I don't. Everybody gets.
Hey! Before you do that, I'm gonna screen share it and show their website. How about that?
Oh, you know what? I think I'm gonna put it right here in the our story. I got the link. I just put the link on. Okay.
Well, I can't. I'm gonna have to screen share it off of my website because I don't know how to do that.
Okay.
So there's Spice Key Irish Made and our unique method. Now, we'll notice this in Ireland, they spell whiskey with an E. But in Scotland, in England, and Canada, they spell it without an E. But in the United States, they generally spell it with an E. Although the U.S. government officially spells it without an E. So should whiskey be spelled with or without an E? The answer is it doesn't matter.
You know what? You say Caribbean, someone else says Caribbean. All I got to say is this is aromatic as all hell, and it's very spiced. It is more spiced than any spiced rum I ever had. And the spices taste like your autumn.
Let's get to you. Let's just see what.
All right, go ahead. All right.
Okay, I'm going to get to. There's the barrels. There's the barrels aging it. And I don't want to read the whole story. There's the lady. Very nice.
Yeah.
Okay, let's see.
Recipe. She's a decent looking older woman. That's all I have to say. Decent looking.
Yeah.
Yeah, she ain't bad.
And considering where I'm at right now, I can't say too much. All
Yeah.
right.
At least her name is not Nina or Tenna or 11.
Why you say that?
Oh, sarcasm.
Oh, because Ronald Sutton always.
Yeah, he always calls poor
Oh, because when Ronald Sutton would say
Nina. Yeah.
but her name is Nina, but he called her.
Yeah, at least she's not a waitress in a
Would it be ironic?
At least you
It
don't.
would be ironic if she came on. It would be ironic if she came on one day and said, "Well, you know, it actually is Nina. Y'all been saying it wrong." I'd be embarrassed, you know.
Well, it would be
But
NINE-AH. Nina, that used to work in the diner, the graveyard.
Right. And secondly, I've been saying Nina for about 2 months, and she never corrected me, so I would assume that I've been saying it the right way.
She acts too normal to be a diner waitress. I've known many a diner waitresses, and they definitely have dysfunction in their life, to say the least. But anyway,
yeah, Nina is like a genius with automobiles. She can repair automobiles.
You know, that's very attractive. A woman that is not afraid to work and get her hands dirty and has manual labor skills that can actually do auto mechanics. Because a lot of glamour girls, you know, they shake my hand, they give me their fingers like it's like a dead like a wash rag. They don't even shake, they don't squeeze my hand. They go, "Ew, no, don't ruin my nails." You know, they're not, you know, like this woman is like a real salt of the earth pillar, you know, like a old fashioned woman, like my grandmother's generation. My grandmother tackled everything.
I used to like Joe. I used to like Joe on Facts of Life. Remember Nancy McKeon?
Oh, the facts of life, the facts of life.
And her and Blair used to get into it all the time. Blair was like the pretty girl with the hair. And then of course they became best friends. But anyway, back to your spice whiskey.
You know, she looks very pretty today.
Blair?
The girl that had the private school uniform on, the pretty one, the blonde.
Blair.
Yeah, she looks the same. She really hardly aged at all. I mean, sometimes it works out. It must be good genetics. But anyway, the spices are very potent and not overwhelming where you cannot detect that it's whiskey. But it is typical pumpkin pie autumn spices. The spices used in pumpkin pie blends that they put in hot mold cider or pumpkin pie.
Mold,
yeah, MULLEED. It's got, you know, cinnamon, the nutmeg, you know, so on, the cloves, maybe ginger. Not Marianne, but ginger.
I'll take Marianne. All right.
I like Marianne. She showed her belly. I like that. I like the belly showing. Ginger was like loaded with makeup. She had gobs of cosmetics on, you know. But anyway, it's funny how she had enough cosmetics to last her all that time on the island.
I know, yeah.
But anyway, who built the Thurston and Lovey Howell's furniture? That's what I want to know.
Right. If you let any kind of thought creep into that show, it doesn't make any sense.
Yeah, they had the dresser, they had the big bed. It was all like, you know. So anyway, and poor Skipper and Gilligan had the hammock, and I think who was on top, the fat Skipper or Gilligan?
I never could. After about 5 years old, I couldn't bear watching it. All right.
Okay, here we go. It tastes. I get the pumpkin pie autumn spices. The spices are actually, to be honest with you, this tastes better than a hell of a lot of liqueurs.
Wow.
And I even like it better than Southern Comfort because it has a bit of sweetness, but not overpowering sweetness. So it is like taking a little bit of a liqueur with pumpkin pie spices and adding it to your typical Irish whiskey. I like it a lot. It's very pleasant. And Okay, has the whiskey flavor that you would get from any Irish whiskey, but you definitely taste all the spices you get during autumn in a pumpkin pie spice blend. So I would definitely like to try this again if I can find it, because I wasn't in my usual liquor store. I was in another part of my county, and I was with my sister, and she brought. I said, I got to stop at a liquor store. She pulled over. That's when I got the Japanese takeout, the udon noodles with shrimp and everything, and then I went to the liquor store there, and lo and behold, they had some products that I'd never seen before, small bottles. But this is good. I would definitely try it again. As far as spiced hard liquors go, as far as spiced hard liquors, I would give this a 97% out of 100. As far as Irish whiskeys go, I would give this a 90. As far as Irish whiskey, a 90 out of 100, because I still like patties.
Yeah,
I like patties. I never had. Did I ever have Bushmills? I don't even remember, but I know Jameson's. Yeah, I like patties. But so that's how I rate this here.
Okay, well, that's good. And boy, I'd love to try it. My daughter, she's into all those mulled wines and Irish whiskey and spices. So, golly gee, she bought me for Christmas or my birthday. I can't know, for Christmas she bought me some spices from somewhere, and one of them was Russian spices. I got another thing. I've been putting that on eggs and everything. Oh boy! Now,
I've been using garam masala imported from India. It's a curry called garam masala. It's an all-purpose seasoning, but it's got a kick to it. It's kind of spicy.
I like that. Now here is I love spicy stuff. I'm like a drug addict of spices.
Yeah, it's good for you too.
Right. If I wanted to get hooked on something, I think a good thing to get addicted to would be spicy products. Now, here is the Elysian Space Dust India Pale Ale with a little cute hop cone spewing out space dust all along the bottle. It's coming out his mouth and it's going into space. Now, here's the product. It's kind of orange. It's translucent. You can't see through it, but it's sort of like one of those glowing light bulbs, It's 8.2, I think it is. Woo! I have to go, or I have to be careful. But it's all right. It's only 12 ounces. It won't be a big deal. This is for you, D chicks. The D chicks. This is for you. How you like that? How you like that? How you like that, Dixie chick? How you like that? You like that? Huh? You like that? You like that?
What flag does that represent? Heart of Dixie?
You like that? Oh, this is the first. It's a pretty flag, isn't it? It's red, white, and blue. We love it's the first Confederate flag with the first original 7 states. South Carolina.
Yeah, the first colony was Virginia, wasn't it? The very first colony?
English colony, yeah.
English.
So, but this is the original: South Carolina, Georgia, Florida, Alabama, Mississippi, Louisiana, and Texas. And that's the stars, and then these are the bars.
Is that after Ponce de Leon was looking for the Fountain of Youth in Florida? St. Augustine?
Yeah, about 300 years after. It's a sad thing, because if he had found that fountain, he could come on this show tonight and talk about it.
Yeah, he would have to change his clothes because they would laugh at him.
Right, but he could come on here, and talk about the Fountain of Youth, because if he had found it, he'd still be, unless he got in an accident or something or got ill, but he could say, you know, oh, you know, I was exploring in Florida and I found the fountain and it was very bountiful and it gave me much vigor in life. And but
you know, I wouldn't want to have the healthcare and medical science that they had back then, because people dropped dead from so many different reasons at a young age. You know, it's really bad.
Now, Nina.
Hey, what's up?
Right? Nina, right?
Nina or Nina?
I like Nina. I think we've gone over this.
No, I didn't get over it because Mr. Sutton cracks me up sometimes.
Yeah, people have their ways.
Yeah, I'm scatterbrained, so I might have not been part of that conversation, but
Eric explained to me what happened one night recently. So
okay, I'm gonna put the comments up in a moment, y'all. Well, Nina, I'm gonna watch your canoe paddle later. I'm gonna.
Oh, okay.
I'm gonna be busy tonight. I'll put it in my watch later list. Let me give a quick rundown of this beer. Okay, if you like a strong ale, this is up your alleyway. If you don't like strong bitter ales, oh baby, you don't want to get on this spaceship. You don't want to ride on this Jefferson Starship because it's going to take you in a bad area. But
they're a bunch of wimps if they can't handle that.
now, if you like bitter, intense flavors, if you like intensities in 10 cities, this could be something for you. And I do believe, if you don't like things, you leave. No, I think it has wheat. It contains wheat. I do believe it contains wheat. It's a strong, bitter flavor. It's a heavy-bodied beer. It's got sugary sweetness from the malts. It's got a lot of alcohol, 8.2. It's got a lot of bitterness. It's super jacked up, but it's super kind of inexpensive because I bought this single at Mathern's and it did not cost me a lot, and it's still within the freshness state. Now, a few more little notes.
I'm very proud that you picked a real macho alpha man's beer.
Yeah, because if there's anything people know about me, hey, Craig, I'll be right back to you. I'm going to finish doing my expose. There's Craig from New Hampshire, right?
Oh, that's the famous Craig Svensson, right? Is that him?
Oh, wow. Hey, Craig, how's it going?
Now, Craig, you're in New Hampshire, right?
Yes, I'm in New Hampshire.
Okay. Now I'm going to be right back to you, but let me finish this expose before things get out of hand, because I'm on a hard end. I have to end at the bottom of the hour. I have no choice. So this beer is fabulous. Is it the greatest thing I ever tasted and drank? No, but it's sure dynamite. I wouldn't want to drink it every day. The thing about these double India pale ales is that if you drink them too much, they start getting next to you like you don't want them. You say, ugh. It's like a treat. Well, it'd be like chocolate cake. If you have it every now and then, it's enjoyable. But if you had it all the time, you'd hate it. You know what I mean? You'd hate it. So I like it. And every 2-3 months, let's say once every 3 months, a bottle is perfect. Perfect. And I'm going to score it. One more sip. Oh, we got people joining this thing like madness now. Like,
people working Dairy Queen, they don't get enthusiastic anymore. People that work at Dairy Queen, they're like, oh, bored. Because they're around ice cream all.
Right. You're around it all the time, so you get bored with it. And if they don't get bored with it, they get big with it. They get big with it. But this is like that it's like the 1963 movie. It's a mad, 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 mad world. Everybody's joining. Stanley Kramer's movie, The Fabulous, one of the funniest movies I've ever seen. I'm coming, Mama. I'm coming. All right, but anyway, this beer is very good, and I'm going to say 96 out of 100. It's so good, and I enjoy it, and that's about it. I'm going to go back to the group view, and then we're going to go to Nina, and she's going to expose something, I would imagine, and then Craig, and then Kyle.
Something. Wow. Holy moly. Filling up, full house. I got an interesting ale.
Hold on. Okay, hold on. So just to recap, I'm in Louisiana. in the heart of Dixie. James is in New Jersey, in the Mid-Atlantic states, the Garden State. I'm in well, we have about 6 nicknames. Tonight I'll say Sportsman's Paradise, but Louisiana has many nicknames. Nina is in Rhode Island, Little Rhodey.
Little Rhodey.
Little Rhodey. That's
The ocean.
Our namesake might get shorter. We have the smallest state with the longest name, and they're gonna probably chop Plantations off the end of it from the sounds of it, because that's all what's going on right now.
What's the official name of the state? Rhode Island and Rhode Island.
The state of Rhode Island and Providence Plantations.
Right. So they're going to take the name off of Plantations because that people associate that with slavery in the Old South, and these people are insane.
They're taking it off of official documents, so if it bothers you and you get something in the mail, it won't like freak you out, I guess. I'm drinking a beer that's kind of freaking me out. This is a 9.5% strong ale, and it's
okay. Wait. Hold on. I'm sorry. We got Kyle. Kyle, what state are you in?
I'm in Illinois.
Okay, and then we got Craig in New Hampshire. So we're gonna go to Nina. I mean, now Ronald's got me saying it. Nina and
Nina. All right. So I've got the. I don't know if anyone's seen this. It's out of Victory Brewing. This is the first Victory product I'd seen in my area.
I've seen it.
Sour
I feel like
monkey.
I have seen that.
Sour triple. It wasn't cheap, and I wanted to try some of these Victory beers because I keep seeing them. People enjoying them down in, I guess, south of the Mason-Dixon. I guess things are different down there. Or this is actually a Pennsylvania beer is where it's brewed. 9.5% alcohol, and it's a triple. So, I don't know all the what do you call it when there is some kind of algorithm to decoding your beer, be it a triple, be it what have you. But this is a sour, so I guess it's like its own whole thing. Other than being an ale, it's like its own style. So I don't even know if you could rate this beer. Anyway, I've been drinking it for a couple days now, and I've been thinking that it might taste like pickle juice, something like a green tomato, or like some kind of funky kind of pickled Polish kind of delicacy, maybe. But it's very sour, but like not always. Sometimes it's very drying, like a Chardonnay, and then other times it's like, holy moly, like this is sour. And yesterday I thought it kind of like tainted my palate, so every beer that I had for the rest of the day was kind of sour. And then I was looking at my refrigerator this afternoon. I was like, what am I going to drink? And I was kind of in the mood for one of these. So I guess it's not bad. I'm going back to it. I've pretty much polished this one off. It's a good beer, but it's weird. It's more like a Chardonnay would be my best descriptor of it. It's very dry, but like sour. It just kind of rocks your palate.
Yeah.
I don't know how I feel about it. I feel like it tastes like a boxed wine, as far as done in like a wine barrel or something. Like it has a lot going on. And I guess there are a few different variants of this beer that aren't as complex that I haven't explored. But sour triple, I mean, don't buy a 6-pack, but certainly explore this style if you can come across it. It's not bad, but it's weird. It's like, I don't know what, maybe like around Easter it would be good. It's like a canned good.
So in other words, you're not sure if you like it, but it's interesting.
Yeah, but I wouldn't say I dislike it. There's a time and a place for everything. And I guess there's like, I just, when you have green tomatoes, you really have no other choice but to do something with them. They're like immature. And, that's not how I feel about this beer. obviously somebody wanted this and went through a lot of effort to create this, but it wasn't out of like necessity. It wasn't, it's strange. I don't know. It reminds me of Polish pickled green small tomatoes. And I just, it's like chlorophyll-ish, but it's not chlorophyll-ish. It's drying on it's like a Chardonnay, which is a new wine, isn't it? Like it's a young wine or delicate wine. It's an interesting one. It's a scrambler here. I wonder how long these are going to last for, because I'm probably not going to pound them all in, a week. And I've got a 6-pack of them. They're interesting.
Isn't Chardonnay sort of wood oriented?
It's a young wine, I thought, or maybe that's rosé. I don't know my wines all that well, but I know rosé is sold so quickly between being pressed and bottled that it basically does all its fermentation on the truck to its point of sale. So Chardonnay, I used to drink some Chardonnay often, and I don't want to put down boxed wines, but that Fisheye box wine brand, I always thought it was pretty good, their Chardonnay. Yet when I would buy it in New Hampshire at one of those big stores, the state package stores or whatever, I would always look for the one with the oldest date, because it seemed to be better if it was a year or two old versus the new ones on the shelf.
Wow, that's really interesting, because that's usually the opposite with products,
Well, I don't know. Maybe it's something about the Chardonnay, the way it rolls. Hey, Craig. Cheers.
Okay, so Craig made some cameo appearances on our Hangouts before, but now here he is with something, I guess. So there you go.
Oh, is it my
Nina.
turn to go?
Yeah.
Wait, let me go back to Nina real fast and get a score, because I'm on a tight schedule. So, Nina, what score would you give that oddity?
This oddity, I don't hate it. So I'm gonna have to score it somewhat high. I don't want to put it down, so I'm gonna have to give it a range. I'm gonna go for like a 94 to 95, that kind of range. It's not bad. It's like interesting. If I got this as a gift, I'd be flattered. This would be a great gift.
Okay, that's fair. Now, Craig has the floor.
All right. I'm drinking a heady topper from the Alchemist. My wife brought me to she brought me to Vermont last weekend for Father's Day, because she knows it's my favorite. My favorite IPA is heady topper. Plus, I got some other things from that brewery, but I love going there. So a couple times a year we go there, and that's what I'm drinking. It's a perfect beer.
Can you show us some of it in a glass?
No, because it says drink from the can.
Oh, yeah? Wow.
It's a first.
I'm sorry for my horrible camera work, because I'm on a phone.
Yeah,
I don't know if you can see. At the top, it says drink from the can. There's specific instructions. You cannot pour this in a glass.
Well, if that's the rule, what score would you give that thing?
Oh, it's 100, definitely.
100. That's a good score.
Yeah, because for IPAs, I always prefer the English style or West Coast, and I hate the New England juice bombs or whatever they call them. And this is almost like a hybrid, but it's so original. I've never had an IPA like it, so I love it.
Nice.
Wow, that's great. I've never had it, but I've heard about it for 10 years, I guess. People wait in line all day for it, right?
Oh, yeah. And my wife wants me to send you some, but I always tell her he doesn't want me to.
Do you know the hops?
Because it's a big expense, and it's a hops. Yeah, what hops do you know?
Oh, I have no idea the hops. One of these days, I am going to send you a package, and you'll like it. And I won't let you down like some other people.
Yeah, some other people who got their little feelings hurt and quit alcohol eggs because they told me they were going to send beer, and then I asked them for a tracking number, and they blocked me. Oh, well.
Yeah, I won't do that. Someday I'll hook you up.
Yeah, I can't defend insanity, But anyway, now Kyle from Ohio.
Illinois.
I mean, Illinois.
Well,
sorry.
I'm just
sorry,
weathering this thundering Thursday, but I didn't
Yeah.
realize I had to. Well, yeah, I got something you guys won't never be able to find. It's very fancy. Icehouse.
Oh yeah, we can't find that unless I go 1.5 mile away.
I know.
We're gonna get back to the back to the Whiskey Scout. Okay, hold on, Whiskey Scout. Okay, Kyle. So yeah, I can get 12 packs of bottles of that. Yeah.
Right. Actually, I can't get the bottles anymore. I used to be able to, but no, I buy this because the 30 packs are $15. I mean, what can you really say about it? It's 5.5 Plank Road Brewery, which doesn't really exist. I don't know. I mean, it kind of reminds me of Frito-Lay's Fountain. Kyle. What are you talking about, Jersey? Are you looking for me? But anyways, kind of reminds me of, like, the smell kind of reminds me of, like, Frito-Lay corn chips. I don't know. I like it. I don't. Never had of it. But, no, I don't know. There's not much to really say about this beer. I didn't know I'd have to review it. But,
oh, yeah. Don't feel under pressure. You're not on the spot, you know?
But, yeah, like, I don't know. Like, if I had to rate it as a beer as a whole, 0 to 100, I don't know. Probably 79.
C plus.
Yeah, it's above. It's good. I mean, it's borderline good. I guess I would say. You know what I mean? Like it's.
In other words, I would use the
but
word service. It's serviceable.
Right. Yeah. Like I mean, all things considered, it's above average. I would say, price wise, it's nothing offensive. So I'm gonna say 79 C plus, above average. Yeah, I mean, I like it, but like if I'm comparing it to every beer in the world, I'm not gonna put it in like 90s or something because obviously there's so many beers that are way better than this, but I can't really complain about it. Like it's price wise, and it's just a beer. Like it's nice, you know, decent ABV, decent ABV, cheap. Yeah, nothing offensive. Yeah.
Here's an original bottle back from the mid '90s.
Oh yeah, I remember that. Yeah.
I remember that. Short neck bottle.
I remember that. I think my mom used to drink that when I was a little kid in the '90s.
So here's Icehouse. I bought this. Well, it was it's still common now, but there's the Plank Road Brewery. That's the original Miller Brewery in Wisconsin, Milwaukee.
I remember those labels.
And it was a kind of a nice label, you know. And remember back when it first hit the market, it was sold as a above premium beer. It was a little expensive. Then they decided that nobody cared about the Plank Road Brewery and the history. So they said, you know what? Since nobody cares about history, let's just sell it as a cheap beer. So overnight, it went from being an above premium beer to a below premium beer, and now it's a budget.
Did the Plank Road Brewery ever actually exist, or is that just like a selling point?
No, it did exist actually.
Oh, it did.
It was the original. Yeah, the original Miller Brewery in Milwaukee. The original Miller Brewery was called the Plank Road Brewery. It was on a plank road, a road made out of planks. In Baton Rouge, Louisiana, there's a road called Plank Road. But of course, it's paved now. But have you
ever had a pine float cocktail before, Ron?
No.
I think it's a toothpick in a cup of water. Something about the Plank Road seemed to remind me of that.
A pine float cocktail. Okay, well.
That's a good cocktail in a nightclub.
They have one of our reservoirs in Rhode Island is called the Situate Reservoir, and one of the real budget cocktails you can get is the Situate cocktail.
So yeah, But yeah, Plank Road Brewery was the original Miller, and then it became Miller. But then they got bought out by Philip Morris Cigarette Company, and now they're owned by Coors, Molson and Coors. Okay, but there's the Whiskey Scout. He's from Kansas. We got the West, the Northwest. You know,
hold on. I had to cut that down.
Oh,
we got salted caramel brown ale. I'm sorry, it's from. I can't think of the name of it now. I was just looking at it. It's from
Horny Goat.
Horny Goat, yeah. What the hell? Brewed by Horny Goat Brewing Company, La Crosse, Wisconsin. I was looking for La Crosse, Wisconsin. Yeah, it's a Horny Goat, and I've had several from them now. I enjoy it. Anyway, but this was a 6.5% alcohol by volume, and salted caramel is what we should expect in it. It is brown ale, so I don't know IBUs. I didn't see them on the can.
I've had that beer. I've had it twice.
10/8/20 is the date on it, so we're good for date-wise. And it pours with the. Well, I could smell the sweetness from here. And that's solid one-finger head, but it's not really dissipating hardly.
No.
Yeah, there is a sweet caramel note. Actually, yes, I'll say that. And that comes along with a hoppy. There's a hoppy note to it, but not like a IPA hoppy note. And then you get an underlying kind of sort of a citrus. There's a citrus note to it. But it's not. It's not really like a lime or lemon. It's just a very light citrus note. There, the head's starting to finally dissipate some. Dang, that is good. I didn't think I'd really care for it. It comes across a bit thin and watery, but the salted caramel is all there. You're salty. Well, the salt really balances. This is good. This surprised me. I did not expect this. It even lick your lip when you're done. It's a nice balance of sweet and salt. That salty sweet play. Really, they have it balanced really well in here with the salted caramel. And then you have a subtle brown ale that dark malts, not roasted, just dark malty, hoppy beer, but the hops are not overwhelming anything. It's a very low IBU on the hop content to my perception here. But they are there, and that's adding the fruity note. It's a fruity style hop. I don't know my hops. I mean, I've heard them all mentioned, but I'm not going to go into detail. I don't know that much. I only speak to what I know, but it's bringing that citrus note to it. Really background. And it's more like almost a light grape note. Not whiny, not at all, but it's that little tanginess that's on the sides and the back of your tongue that you get with when you eat white grapes. I get kind of that with this too.
Interesting.
It is. This is worth definitely. This is a repurchase.
Pretty good. Sounds pretty damn good.
My wife bought this for me for Father's Day, and it's lingered since Father's Day, and now I believe I'm due a 4-pack of this pretty soon.
Is it dry like a wine?
No.
That's good.
No, it's not. You can't think of it as a wine note. It's not really a wine note. It's more like that, just that light little grape note. And I think that's the hops, possibly the yeast and the other, depending on what they used. I just don't know these things. But that salted caramel up front just belts you. Then it runs through the beer, the ale. The ale runs across the palate. And then it finishes with that light citric note. And I like a beer that transitions across the palate. I like any alcohol, any sort of these alcohols. If they transition across the palate and it gives you multiple sensations over a short period of time, that to me adds a lot of character. And I like that character about it. And this one here it brings that character. You want me to go ahead and score it, Ron?
Yeah, you may as well.
Okay. I'm going to give it a high score. I like it a lot. This is a 96 out of 100. This is a very, very good beer for me. I mean, first time ever having it, you know, I really enjoy it.
I've had a lot of beers from that company. They made an IPA. They made a brown ale. I think they made the salted caramel. They made a peanut butter porter. I think. Yeah.
Yep.
And
that's the other one I have. I've had a couple of those. I like those.
They had a brew pub, but it closed down. They still have their beer contract brewed. I think they might be an alias company for a bigger company, but I don't care. Whatever. What they make is interesting. It's a little bit peculiar, eccentric. It's it's pretty good.
Yeah.
It's not expensive.
Yeah.
And my wife bought it for me, so I don't remember what she paid for it. But I know in the peanut butter porters I've bought, it seems to me like they run in that $2 to $2.60 range, somewhere in there. So I would have to expect this to be about the same price per can. Be cheaper if you bought the 4-pack.
Yeah, or the 6-pack.
Oh yeah,
I think they come in 6-packs.
And
bottles.
I don't know.
My whiskey drinking friend, he was always really into those caramello candy bars. I wonder if he would appreciate that beer.
He really might. This is a good one. I mean, it sometimes when you see things labeled like salted caramel and you drink it and you just get just a little bit of the flavor and it's kind of lays in the background. You get most of the beer. In this case, they've chosen to make that salted caramel up front and forward on this. And by doing so, it really is, as the can says. I mean, it really comes across. The nose is the nose doesn't really translate what you're going to get on the flavor. In other words, the nose is a little weak compared to the actual palate and the flavor you get when you drink it.
Yeah.
So
you never had their IPA, huh?
No, I've never. I'll have to keep my eye out for it.
All right. Now
we got it.
Before we close out in the last 10 minutes, I can go on for 10 more minutes, but I'll show y'all what's coming up, and then James might have some things he wants to talk about. But like I said, to the Dixie, whatever they're called, the chicks, the dodos, the yo-yos, I'll say this. Hey, you like that? You like that? Hey, you like that? Anyway.
We should do a show about censorship these days. Censorship in general.
Right. We could do a show about censorship. It'd probably get blocked. But anyway, because it would be like projecting open-minded.
And I'll eat organic commentaries during the show.
Right. If you promote open-minded thinking, that's a microaggression. But anyway,
all right.
Talking about wine. Nina was talking about Chardonnay. That's my outlet. But that's my excuse. Well, I have something coming up, y'all. Kyle dropped off. Kyle was going to have the floor to give his last statements, but I have a wine coming up, and for good or ill, and I would think it's mostly ill, but it's coming up. I bought this, and it says,
blue raspberry. Bling, bling, blue raspberry.
Bling, bling.
Raspberry.
It's from the very, very famous, or if you want to use a more correct term, infamous Mogan David 2020 Wine Company. I bought this 375 milliliter, so it's a half-size bottle, for the exact price of $2.90. Oh, what am I saying? $2.99. I have to correct myself. It was $1.99. Excuse me. So I'm sure that's going to be just beyond conception of how good it's going to be. It does say on the label, grape wine with natural flavors and certified color. And we all know when you drink wine, you want to have that food coloring in it because that adds a lot of character.
Yep. Blue Houdini.
Now we have 8 minutes left or so. So we open the floor to anybody who has any comments. I was going to let Kyle talk, but he disappeared inexplicably. So, and then Craig disappeared, but Craig does his little cameo appearances, and then he's gone. But you see, his cameo appearance today was longer. So next time it'll be even longer. Pretty soon, my whole channel will become known as the Craig Swenson channel, and it'll be a channel takeover. I see that happening, but I'm going to shut up, and anybody can say whatever they want.
I've had those guests on my show where they're long-winded. They don't come up for air, and then before you know it, they dominate the show. I have. Let me tell you something. It's just a 5 minutes, 5 minute story. Then it becomes half-hour story. It's like it just. There are people like that on social media. This was a very invigorating, thundering Thursday. Dixie Man.
Did you hear about the Dixie Chicks? They dropped the Dixie.
Yeah, that's why I want to eat organic yellow hominy grits with melted cheese and have it dribble down my chin while Jay is talking about censorship and how they're destroying American traditions.
Our Columbus statue in Providence is being put into storage as of this afternoon. Columbus is really out of favor nowadays. Apparently, there are all these atrocities that I never heard about that he was famous for. But I would tend to think there were a lot of atrocities during the Columbus period, regardless of where you lived.
You know what he said to his shipmates when he was in the Caribbean? He says, these native people here are so friendly and generous and attentive. They will make very good servants for us.
Oh, great.
He really. Yeah.
I like the pineapple concept. That's nice. I guess they could replace Columbus with a big pineapple or something.
Yeah, I saw a lot of pineapples in New England, like welcome souvenirs. It said welcome.
My grandparents had this beautiful Polish pineapple sign in their house that said "Welcome" in like Polish underneath it, which was always very welcoming.
I used to live growing up. Still there. I used to live next to a huge Polish community in Garfield, New Jersey, and I would go to this Polish market called Piast, and they would smoke all the kielbasa and the bacon, slab bacon, everything was made on the premises, the homemade sauerkraut. And let me tell you, even the bakery was like, you know how Dunkin' Donuts is a little cheap piece of crap. Their donuts were huge for $1, and they had cheesecake they made. They had the freshly made breads. I
don't hate Dunkin' Donuts. They do an all right job with their donuts.
No, the donuts are like little namby-pamby.
They got rid of the Dunkin' Donut. There used to be the one with the little growth on it. It was a round donut with like a stick that came off of it, and you could dip it in the coffee, and you could always dip it. It was the handle for dipping your Dunkin' Donut. It was called, and that's no more.
Oh.
I work at my job. I work with a lady who's from Canada, and boy, if you insult Tim Hortons, she's ready to fight. Boy, she's like dedicated to Tim Hortons.
Their coffee's very. It's like Hefenweiser version of a coffee. It like hurts your throat. It feels like there's all this sediment or something in Tim Hortons. Timmy Hotes.
She'll
She's
flip
cut
out.
my throat. She's saying that.
She's like she's so aggressively Canadian. I was like, why do you? I say, you're so fat. You're so like, I tease her all the time. I say, you're so like obsessed with Canada. I say, why don't you become a U.S. citizen? Oh, no way. I would never do that, eh? I said, okay.
They tell her, did she like Dudley Do-Right cartoons? The guy with the dimple, the big chin, you know,
yeah, right. Yeah. She loves all that stuff, you know.
Royal Canadian Mounted Police, yeah.
What was the enemy in that show? Snidely? Something Snide.
I can't criticize her because she says she's going to make me some poutine one day.
Oh, my mother makes that with you have to have the squishy little curds. They must have those out like Wisconsin way or something.
Right. She's going to make poutine. Now,
poutine is pretty good.
Now, I want to say this. My last name is French, okay? But I think my last name might actually be Italian that was transformed into French, because a lot of those words that end with a vowel sound, you know, like the French, it could have been one of those situations where the French people took an Italian name and made it sound French. But anyway,
Franco-Italian.
Right, because France was always trying to take over Italy and they kept failing, you know. But and they had a big border war, over some border areas as recently as 1940. But so that's my background. And then on my mother's side, they have a name that comes from, they claim Yugoslavia, Osanak, but it could be like I don't know what it is, Austrian. They said they were from Austria, but it could be like Slavic. I don't know, Osanach.
Be nice if it was Romania, like Vlad the Impaler. Like if your family was Transylvania, you know.
Well, a lot of my cousins, my second cousins, and my mother's first cousin, they spent years in Romania. They can all speak fluent Romanian, which to me sounds like Italian, but because it's a Latino language, you know. But they can all speak Romanian. They spent the whole 1990s in Romania as children. But now Madonna is an Italian name, right?
Yeah. My mother's side is from Sicily. My father was from Naples. By the people that lived by Mount Vesuvius, waiting for it to blow.
Sicily and Naples. Okay, that used to be its own country until 1859. It was called the Kingdom of the Two Sicilies. It was actual country with its own flag, and
well, the Sicilian flag is the head of Medusa, with the legs going in a rotary like a swastika. The head of Medusa, you know, with the snakes, you know, that's the flag of Sicily. The Greeks were there. Maybe Hannibal was there. The Moors.
The tip of the boot, Sicily. Like,
it's an island. It's an island off.
Right. Syracuse was a Greek colony, but the Kingdom of the Two Sicilies was actually Naples all the way down.
I love Naples. Napoli pizza.
Yeah, Napoli.
Napolitano.
You know the wine growers. I mean the vineyards. They won't move from Mount Etna, even if because of the volcanic soil.
It's really hard to move your grape plants.
Well, I mean, it's Mount Etna, you know, it's very active, you know, so they won't move because they claim the volcanic soil is very rich. And it's like when I drink Sumatra coffee is volcanic soil too.
It contains all the freshest minerals straight out of the earth. As it starts to break down into soil, the rhizomes start to develop and intermine with the mineralization. You do get some extremely rich soil. Right. That's a geologist talking to you.
I got two more questions now. Whiskey Scout, I love listening to all that kind of stuff too. I'm on a time frame problem.
It's your show, man.
Hendrix is an English name, right?
Nope, Dutch.
Dutch.
Hendrix is Dutch. I come from German, Dutch, and Scottish and Welsh folks. My mother's side, the Tyners, that's a Welsh name. The Gilmores is Scottish. Engelbrights and Books are German. And it's not, even though my great-grandmother, my great-great-grandfather on the Books came over. He's the last immigrant. Most of all my immigrants came over prior to the Revolutionary War. And great-great-great-grandfather Book came over. He has his Prussian birth certificate, my aunt does. And when they spelled his name over there, it was B-U-C-H. But at Ellis Island, when he came across in the late 1870s, we changed the spelling to B-O-O-K because, that's how you spell your name. He didn't know how to spell it in English. He told them Book, and they wrote down Book. And that's actually
Book. Yeah. Book. It was Book.
So, it was Book, but so I'm mostly I'm a 57. I'm German, Dutch, Scottish.
I thought Hendrix was English, so I'm gonna wear wooden shoes for a month in penance.
Well,
now what kind of name? What kind of name is Yordi? What is the ethnicity of that name?
Well, it's a Scottish contemporary name, and it's like a funky one, and it made its way to America. There were two sects of the Yordies. One went north and one went south. The southern-facing group, eventually one became the governor of California, and the others were kind of, in the mining communities of Pennsylvania and West Virginia, all that.
So it's Scottish.
Yeah, Scottish. Pretty much, that area is very Scottish, Irish, English. It's kind of so close. It's hard to really segregate. People get mad when you say that, but it's very similar cultures.
Yeah, my mother's side of the family, they had a lot of what they call Scotch Irish. My great-grandmother's last name was Ryan. Her name was Isabel Ryan. Mm-hmm. Ryan, R-Y-A-N, Ryan.
There's
and
a lot of Ryans in Rhode Island. The Ryan Center is a big thing. I think it's a family.
We had Jaegers. Ryans. We had Jaegers and Zingle. Oh, well, who cares about all that? I shouldn't even mention it. I'm just curious,
It's America, baby. It's a melting pot. Right.
We're all Americans, and we're all United States citizens. Because the Canadians get mad when you call yourself an American, because they're an American too.
Hey Jay, you should find a wall with a frame around it. Then you would be within a time frame. Noticed
the Canadian thing is vanning. Vans were super big in like the Midwest on the Canada, border, and humongoid in Canada. And I've learned that you're allowed to stay for 6 months of the year in America if you're not a citizen. And it seems that Canadians often go on little van tours throughout the United States for about 6 months a year. So I've decided it's kind of just a Midwest state if you think about it.
I thought you were talking about their names being Vans, and I have a good friend, Van Buskirk, and that's another Dutch name.
They're pretty much, though, that's like all that Amsterdam area with the Vans and Van Brouwen.
Yeah. I'll say one more thing, and then I got to do a hard ending.
Okay.
Elvis Presley had a manager named Colonel Parker, but if you research his background, he was not from Louisiana. He was not from Shreveport, and he was a Dutch illegal alien who had fled the Netherlands. Apparently, he had been suspected of murdering someone. So it would be very interesting to research Colonel Tom Parker, not his real name. That was his alias. And if you ever watch interviews with Colonel Tom Parker, he has this like Southern accent, like, yeah, I'm from Shreveport, Louisiana. But if you watch him carefully, he'll start to like speak in a Dutch type dialect when they agitate him, like they'll say, well, we heard that you were taking 50% of Elvis Presley's money. And then if you watch the interviews, he says, I was not taking Elvis Presley's money. He did whatever he wanted to do. And I'll say, oh.
Right, he overbooked him. That poor guy.
Yeah. So, oh, yeah, 2 nights. He did double headers every day, afternoon show and evening show for years. How can you live? How can you survive doing an afternoon show and an evening show all year long for 7 straight years?
He was caught in a trap and he couldn't get out.
Right.
Yeah, that's a shame.
Right. He was caught in a trap and he couldn't get out. All right. Anyway, last call.
Yeah, it's
Kansas.
I've decided to switch to Budweiser, and chasing that sour beer, I'm able to experience the beer that should exist, which is sour Bud.
You know, plants absorb inorganic mineral salts, and they chelate it to amino acids. They bind it to amino acids, so it becomes organic. Naturally chelated from the ground. That's usually what happens.
When I was growing a lot of plants, there was this mushroom called mycorrhizae that would break down nutrients and make them available to plant roots. It was a fungus. It was the coolest thing.
Yeah, well, kombucha is kept alive. Kombucha is kept alive and put into very sweet green tea, and it ferments the sugar in the tea. But you keep it alive. You don't.
Scooby. You don't hurt your Scooby. That's the kombucha mother, right?
Y'all are making me feel so dumb. All right. I gotta stop. I'm sorry, I have to stop. But I love listening. I love hearing people talk about food. I like hearing about food more than eating food, and I eat food.
You got to get some soggy dogs, Ron. We got to get you some soggy hot dogs somehow.
Right. I told them not to ship me beer. I said, "Don't ship me beer." I never told anybody not to ship me hot dogs. Right.